Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to the weekly Shlog. We're here at Highland Cycles in Western Colorado, and we are going to do some awesome stuff. Welcome to our little tiny shops vlog, where we show you cool dirt bike things and make fun of people, and it's really fun. So, yeah, if that sounds interesting, you want to learn about dirt bikes and have a lot of fun, stick with us. Let's get this done. Alright guys, so first on my lift, and probably on my lift for at least a couple days, is my 300. I am finally gonna take that thing apart, split the cases, put new main bearings, all new seals, and the most important, the coolest part, is I'm going to be installing Kelsey's custom piston and his gasket set, his base gasket set, and another dome for the top end to get even more power out of that thing. So make sure you stick around. We're going to be doing that. I'm going to be filming in depth into that, like a whole thing, the series and all that stuff. So I'm not going to do all that here on the Shlog because I want to separate that out because those definitely help people who are not willing, they're not here to watch everything, you know, whatever. They just want to learn about the motor. So anyway, going to be doing that soon. Mr. Sheets is over here getting ready to finish up finally, I think, on this CRF, right? Just gasket? Yeah, there it is. He's angry. He's mainly angry because the turkey burn, we gave him a really hard time about being a vegetarian. So if you haven't watched that video, make sure you do. Eric and I were having a lot of fun, giving me a hard time at the top of Trying because that trail is ridiculous. And I just hammered my way up it, not prettily at all. But I managed to get up there before him, so it gave me the right to give him a hard time. It was awesome. Yeah, so he's about to finish that thing up. We just actually, check this out, let me show you, made a KLX 450. No, KLX 400, excuse me, street legal. So it's got a horn, a mirror, a brake light switch, and then he did all that. Then what we did was we put DOT legal tires, and yes, that right there is a DOT legal knobby, if you can believe that. That is the Pirelli Scorpion, what is that? Scorpion mid-hard, Scorpion XC mid-hard. And then that is the front. That is a Shinko 216, and it is also DOT, which is cool. So, yeah, that thing's all ready to go, ready to rock and roll. He's psyched. He's going to be all street legal and ready to roll. I think he's already got a plate on there. I'm guessing that's not the plate for this bike. I don't know, but anyway, because he hasn't had it inspected yet, so I'm thinking that's probably a plate from something else. Anyway, so yeah, that's all done, ready to rock and roll. So let's start by taking the engine out of the frame of this 300. Looking pretty good, getting a little bit of blow by. Definitely time to do it. I ride my bikes pretty hard, so it's not surprising that at 120 hours it's kind of getting worn out. But so this is pushed down by your power valve spring. That's the thing you can adjust. So let's push it down like that. It's holding it, and then as that thing spins, pushes this, it goes up to open the power valve. So that's how that works, guys. It's super simple, and I like it that way. The Shercos have an electronic one. The old Hondas have an electronic one. I don't really like those. I like the super crazy simple, just that throw-out bearing kind of style, or whatever you want to call it. Those ball bearings, like a Recluse, really. Yeah, they work. They work well. Seems like a good idea. So anyway, all right, let's keep taking things apart. All right, guys. So I found the spec. It's supposed to be between 23 and 26 thousandths of axial play, so side to side. So I'm just going to go to the big side, 26. Hopefully that does not fit. it drags. Actually, there's no more play. 27 goes. So I don't know, guys. I think I might send her out and get her rebuilt. Like, I don't want to put it back together and have an issue down the road. So I think I'm going to box this thing up. I'm going to send it to Crankworks to have them rebuild it, and then we'll put her back in business. So I know I'm going to send this off and get it rebuilt, and I know that if I did that, or when I do that, Crankworks would pull this bearing race off, but I want to show you how we do that anyway, because we finally have the cool guy tool for it. So this bearing race is basically a nightmare to get off. I have in the past gotten a bearing splitter and tucked it in here and then pushed it through, but it really sucks. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it this way, do it the right way. So this tool is the specific KTM tool for that. What we're going to do is we're going to heat her up. There we go. Boom! That is awesome. That is so much nicer than do it the other way. Oh, that makes me happy. So, yeah, really happy about that. Now we're gonna let that cool off, package it up, send it off to Crankworks. They'll build it back better than new. And then, yeah, we're gonna go back to taking the rest of this cases apart. And yeah, here we go. All right, guys. Got everything apart. I'm busy cleaning. That's what that sound is. That's the one of the case halves over in the ultrasonic getting cleaned up. I'm going to be busy cleaning all this stuff up, but I'm not going to bring you in on that. Just putting the ultrasonic and waiting, putting the ultrasonic waiting, clean anyway, whatever. Getting it all cleaned up. I'm sending that crank out, and one of the things you got to do when you send crank out to Crankworks is, if you want to, you can have them balance the crank. And to do that, they need the piston. I want to show you the piston from Kelsey from RK Tech. So, first of all, there is stock piston. Like I said, it looks pretty good, really. Everything looks great. Nothing crazy. But here is Kelsey's custom piston. Now, he uses Wiseco's because Wiseco is actually the easiest company if you're going to have your own pistons built. They are the easiest. A couple things he does differently though, which is really cool. So first of all, it's all machined and forged. This is cast, which actually I like cast pistons a lot because they don't tend to expand as much. This is a forged piston, but I don't know, it doesn't weigh much more. And I think it's because it's been really cleaned out. And you look down in there and you see it's all machined. Also, he puts this coating on the inside, I think to help to shed heat. I have to ask him about that. Also has it on the top, but not on the sides, because the sides are going to rub up and down anyway. Vertex, some of those guys put like a Teflon coating on here, but it just goes away almost immediately. But one of the biggest things I can see, you can see there, the difference in the window. This is the stock, this is Kelsey's. You can see that window is quite a bit smaller on the Wiseco. So I think that is part of his custom thing. Also, like I said, the coatings where they are. So I'm really excited, guys. Gonna send this with the crank to Crankworks so they can balance the crank for this piston. All right, guys, next on the lift is this absolutely drop dead gorgeous 2002 400 EXC. I don't know if I've seen a 400 EXC in this condition, an 02 KTM in this condition, since not long after 02. This thing is amazingly clean. This guy is in the process of buying it. He hasn't actually purchased it yet. He's trying to make a deal with the guy, but he brought it here for me to make a list of all the things it needs so that he can go back to the owner, probably just for negotiating purposes, like, hey, well, it's going to cost this much, and anyway. So, yeah, so we're going to go through it. I figured I'd bring you guys along and show you what I look for when I'm looking at a bike like this. Obviously, it's super, super clean. The tire is junk, so that needs to get replaced, but, you know, again, I'm not gonna be the person saying exactly what you should or shouldn't do before you buy it. I'm just going to give him all the things that I would do if I wanted to make it like new, and then he can talk to the guy and decide what they want to pay for or not pay for anyway. So rear tire, clearly junk. Over here I noticed the head of this bolt, if you look in there, is broken off, so we're gonna have to get that bolt out of there. Probably not a huge deal to get the bolt out, but it does need this spacer, so we'll have to make that spacer. I don't think I can, well, I can maybe buy one from Pro Moto Build, but it'd be easier just to make it. I do know that it only runs with the choke, so we need to clean the carburetor. We're gonna put in the work order that needs full carburetor rebuild and a mid-body gasket, because the owner who's selling it to this gentleman, or trying to sell it to this one, said that it sat for like 6 years with gas in it. What a... Oh, cool.
That was the guy I called yesterday. It's the idle screw. Does someone mess with that? He thinks it's like...
Oh, yeah. Cool. Right on. So, full carb rebuild. Sorry, Leander's asking questions. Full carb rebuild. Also, I'm going to put in the work order that just needs a petcock, because generally when something sits that long, it's almost never is the petcock okay also. So we'll get a mid-body gasket, petcock, full rebuild kit, all that. We'll do all that work. It's about 2 hours to rebuild one of these carburetors. It's an FCR. To do it correctly and put the mid-body in, it takes about 2 hours from start to finish. All right, so now let's lift this thing up in the air. Check the wheel bearings. So, quickest, easiest way to check wheel bearings is just grab the wheel and you're just gonna shake it back and forth this way. No play in that one. No play in that one. Also, when you grab the back like that, you can usually tell if the swing arm bearings are bad, because it will clunk back and forth. Let's see. Oh, I did notice a missing bolt over here. Put that in there. That's easy. That's no big deal. Except for maybe finding that bolt. A little, you know, countersunk looking bolt, but that should be, I think I have some of those. All right. Everything else, let's see. He's got a list of stuff he wants me to check. So, clutch adjust. My guess is the clutch is probably just fine. It's probably just really sticky from sitting. So it probably needs to be run, oil change, run, maybe oil change again to get that clutch broken loose and working good. The other thing that I noticed he didn't mention was the water pump seal is leaking. And so on these old RFS motors, the water pump is up here, and the water pump shaft is actually the camshaft. So anyway, the weep hole's right here, and you can see where it's come down, and anyway. So that's a really common problem on these. It's a real pain in the butt if the bike has lots of hours on it, because the camshaft will get grooved from the seals. And that means you got to replace the camshaft. And it's not terribly expensive on these, but it's kind of a big project, because getting in there and getting it out, a lot of times you have to take the motor out of the frame for that. And I think you do on this model, which is, yeah, kind of a nightmare. But I don't think that's going to be what is the problem. I think it's just going to be seals, because these were notorious for just seals leaking also. So it doesn't have enough hours on it, I think, to need the camshaft. So I think we're going to get lucky with that, I hope. And we'll be able to just replace seals. So again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell, because I'll be doing all this work here on the channel. We'll be going through all of that. So the next thing he's got is that the odometer doesn't work. And he said he put a new battery in it. So he might need a new thing. I'm gonna fiddle with it a little bit more, get some contact cleaner in there, see if that changed anything. I don't think it will. That's okay. These are relatively inexpensive, just the head units. So, and then we'll check back in. All right, guys. So I'm done checking it out. Didn't really find anything else. That Trailtech little head unit on the Endurance, I think, is no good, because the battery's definitely good. I checked it, making good connection. It's just not turning on. But Sorry, I'm sure it's just super old. But I had to show you something pretty cool that this dude did to get the thing to run so that this guy could at least ride it around. So the choke is right there, and I guess it wasn't staying out, so he rigged up the zip ties to that to hold the choke out so that it would run. Oh, that's hilarious. So that'll be another thing I need to look up, is that choke part, so that it'll stay out when he does use it. Actually, let's take a look at the air filter, because that's one thing that really ought to do when you're getting ready to buy a bike. Let's take a good look at the air filter. That is interesting and not awesome. So I think that is probably from, it's either battery acid or, I don't know, something else. But so far it doesn't look like, I can't see it going through, so. But airbox looks nice and clean, so that's good. Just needs a filter real bad. It's a good thing he didn't get this thing running and ride it. Wow. Look, I can see Zach through it. He's over there. That's gnarly. I don't know if that's an animal. I think that's battery acid, so it might need a battery too. Batteries will do that. They're like off gas. I don't know if he had it on a charger or what, but that's, yeah, anyway. All right, so the next job, guys, is gonna be putting my kid's 144 back together. We got a new cylinder head for it, and he is on his way here pretty soon. So yeah, I'm gonna make him put that thing back together. It's gonna be awesome. All right, guys, we got Thomas down here. He's putting his 144 back together. We're just torquing the head down. These Athena cylinder heads are not easy to find. Fortunately, we did. If you watch this last Shlog, you know that it warped the head. I think from the last time that we had a crash and the hose got cut, it overheated it. And when it overheated it, the rings failed on that one, made it stop running. But what I didn't notice was that the head warped. So I got a new gasket, new head, and he is torquing it down right now. Oh, also, I have to show you. Check this out. Boom! That is my parts for my 300. Michael just got done vapor blasting them, and they look brand spanking new. I am so excited to have someone in town doing vapor blasting. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I'm actually getting ready to film a short little video on that, installing the 2-stroke power valve on the KTM. So if you are interested in that, make sure you check out the channel and find that video, because it's going to be a good one. Alright guys, so next job is, I'm actually waiting on a tool Zach's bringing from home for something else, but while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to attempt to fix the kickstand on my 300 while it's got the motor out of it and everything like that. So let's take a look here real fast. This is where the kickstand is supposed to mount, and there's supposed to be a boss, like this steel tube is supposed to come further out, and then the kickstand slides over. So I got myself a new KTM style kickstand from Extreme Moto Parts, actually, in Romania. Thank you guys so much. I mean, I bought it, but they sent it to me. They have a great deal. They're really pretty inexpensive. I think they're like 60 bucks. And it comes with everything. Kickstand, it comes with the bolt, also the bushing if you want to have it be an automatic kickstand, and then also the spring. So it comes with everything you need. But if you watch, this is supposed to go on here. It's supposed to slide over. So that hole is supposed to go over. That helps it pivot and then not move around. That broke off because I had the Fastway Pro Moto billet kickstand on here forever, and honestly, I'll never use one of those things again. I had lots of problems with it. It would always move around, and eventually it broke that thing because it sticks out further. It's super burly, but it sticks out quite a bit, so then it hits rocks where the normal kickstand wouldn't. anyway, it broke that thing off. I've been dealing with it for a long time now. I'm just tired of it. So I want to get this thing back on here. So I need to figure out, I could have my friend Gary weld right here, do something and like build it up and try, I don't know. But that's gonna be a nightmare, I believe. So what I've got is, this is the under part for a KTM seat, like the old style seat that was back up in here. This would be the part like that. Anyway, so it fits really well in there, which is good. But the bolt doesn't go through because, you know, that hole's too small. So no big deal, we can drill that out. And then I gotta figure out, like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill this out first, get that the right size so this will go through. Then I'm gonna take this whole thing, bolt it up here, and see how far in I need to move it, because I think I might have to grind this piece off to get that, you know, in there tight enough. So let's go drill this thing out and make it the right size first. Right, so we want to drill this thing out to just barely be big enough for this to fit through. So it looks like a, hopefully 5/16 is gonna do it. Boom. Nice tight fit. Now let's come back over here. And this bolt right now is not really long enough, but I can tighten it down just enough, I think, to get an idea. I think we need to go inboard a little bit. Alright guys, I think I got a plan here. So I wish this was steel, but it's not. That's okay though. I still think it's going to work just fine. So there's my piece. I need to be able to hold this piece. I need this to contact the frame and not this, because if this touches it, it's going to bind up. So what I did is I grabbed all that down and I left this just a little bit big. I'm going to put that in here and we're going to press it in there. There we go. Alright, so now you guys can see there's a little bit, come on, focus, a little bit protruding. Yeah, let's go mount this thing up and see if it works. Alright, so I like how far that bolt sticks out. That should be good. Get some red Loctite on her. So we don't want that coming out at all. Yes, I'm excited, guys. That is so much better than that other thing. I'm telling you, those Fastways, when you first put them on, they're great, but after not very long, they end up sucking. So that thing is awesome. It's nice and tight. I love it. I think it's gonna work great. Put my little strappy guy back on it. Everything's good. Right on. So Extreme Moto Parts, great product. I think it's a great price. Like I said, I think they're like 65 bucks delivered. So yeah, we might get a few more of their parts in here. They have a fan kit. Comment below, guys, if you want me to try out their fan kit on this. I've never had a fan on a bike of my own. I've thought about putting one on this bike since I'm doing some of the harder stuff. So yeah, let me know if you think that's a good idea. Hey guys, it's time for a tool spotlight. It's been a while since I've done a tool spotlight, so I've actually got two super cool tools I have to show you guys. So first is this right here. It's the Grip, or Grand Rapids Industrial Products 9-piece super thin wrench set. Huge thanks to Bruce Kennedy for pointing these things out. I gotta show you these things. These are super rad. So there it is. like, look at that. That thing is awesome. I don't know how thin that is, but it's incredibly thin. And it's awesome. It goes from, let's see, 8 all the way to 32. So I have already used these quite a bit. I honestly just forgot to do a tool spotlight on them. Really good for fork caps, holding the nut that the fork cap tightens down against. Really, really good for that. Good for anything where you need something super thin. And the cool thing is they're like $26.99 on Amazon. So I'm gonna put a link in the description. It's gonna be my personal link. So if you buy them through that link, it will help out the channel. I highly recommend them, not just because it will help me, but because they're awesome. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, thank you. The other thing that I'm honestly too excited about, but very, very, very excited about, is another pair of Knipex pliers. And boom, there they are. They are the mini Cobras, I think is what they call them. They're, I don't know, they're tiny. Look at them. They're super thin. They have this awesome locking system, like you just, like that, and then they lock as soon as you close. So it's like, I don't know. I just like them. They're super rad. I could not help myself. I had to buy them. They also have, they're not out yet, they have this sized of the pliers wrench too. These are the Cobras. So I will be getting a set of those too. Anyway, there you go. I don't have a link. I'll see. I might have a link for that too on Amazon. But if I don't, just buy them anyway. They're awesome. So anyway, on to the next job. All right, guys. Probably going to be the last job of the Shlog is this shock. We're going to rebuild this. This is off of a 2021 300 XCW. It doesn't really have many hours, only like 47 hours, but you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but the shock seal's leaking. This is Mr. Michael Schwartz, the guy who does our vapor blasting. This is his shock. We're trading him out because he did some amazing work for us, both on the XR650 and on the KTM 300 cylinder, so I'm going to take care of this for him. Yeah, it's already leaking, kind of weird, but also he could have gotten into some mud. It's been cold. I don't know, lots of factors that could have caused it, so no big deal. We're going to take care of it for him and get it all rebuilt. I've already rebuilt one of these. It's an Explorer shock up the new style. So I'm not going to go in depth here, but if there's anything interesting, I'll bring you guys in and I'll show you some of the kind of the tech tips and stuff like that. So you want to be really careful. There is a shim stack. I'll show you right there that you don't focus. There we go. Don't want to misplace that. There's not a hole all the way through it like there will be for this other part, so I'm not going to put it on something. I'm just going to set it out of the way so I don't bump it. Now, big thing, where's my... Gonna clean this nut and this shaft off really well. Get them dried out. So that our Loctite works. If you use Loctite on oily parts, it doesn't do anything, so you might as well not do it. So a little bit of red Loctite. Don't need to put a ton on this thing. We spilled. It's all right. All right, guys. So you want the setup to look about like that. So you want this pretty high up, right? So there's a little bit of air up here, so we'll probably have to flip it over and make sure it's all good at the end. But that's okay. We're gonna pour our fluid in here. We got this chucked up here, and then that way we can push this in and out and get all the air bubbles out of here. So, and this takes a while compared to like a shock pump. You can kind of walk away from a shock pump while you're doing this, which is nice. But these are way less money than a shock pump. So especially if you're doing this at your house, you know, there's really no reason for just a guy to have a $3,500 shock pump unless you just want to have one, which is cool if you do. But let me show you guys what this looks like. So it's those bubbles you're trying to get out of here. Alright guys, that's the end of the Shlog. I just want to thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you're here to the end, that means you are part of what we like to call the Punk Rock Club. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I also want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons. You guys really are making a big difference in my life, and I thank you so much. If you're by any chance interested in that, there's a link in the description. But if not, obviously, I'm going to keep making these videos. I love making these videos. I really, really hope that they're inspiring you guys to get out there and work on these bikes and try new things and get stuff going. You can see my pipe is smoking. I was just burning out the inside of that thing. But anyway, I love you. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on and get out and ride your dirt bikes!